the police were looking for a felon, and they tried to pull this person over, but the person did not stop. But they have stopped here, and now police are just inching closer and closer. We see about 4 or 5 police cars behind this car with their guns drawn.
They're started to move toward the car, and there he goes, that driver now taking off again slowly, and police continuing their pursuit. So a very slow move down the service road now, again near US 67 and Camp Wisdom Road, as it looks like whoever is behind the wheel there has decided that they are not quite ready to quit this just yet. Police, again, now planning to shut down US 67, at least they were, as long as the car was stopped there in that area, because cars have been getting on and off of that ramp, as you see that ramp there just in the foreground of that shot from Chopper 11. Vehicles have been getting off the ramp and driving fairly close there, and I imagine this is a situation where police are trying to keep people as safe as possible. And now the car has stopped again, police now blocking both the frontage road there and also blocking the exit ramp there. And you can see as that shot pulls out from Chopper 11, now at least a 5th vehicle, a 5th and a 6th vehicle from police that are now there behind that car. Officers again starting to get out, starting to retake those positions that we saw them taking just a few hundred yards back, where they are taking cover behind their open car doors. They're taking cover behind the trunks of their vehicle. We have not seen anybody get out of that red car yet. We haven't seen windows come down. We haven't seen any signs of firearms or weapons, but police again being very, very careful, and that car starts to pull away again. So here we go with this stopping and this starting, not entirely unusual when we have seen cases like this in the past. And you see there is a window down there in that car, and somebody is sticking, the driver is sticking their hand out the window. They are pulling into what looks like a parking lot of some sort. Yeah, pulling into a parking lot now and going across a parking lot. This is the Southwest Center Mall parking lot that I'm told, and you can see a lot of people parked there and cars pulling away and getting out of the way as he just cuts right across the parking lot there and weaving in and out of cars wherever there is an opening. And we see police are slowly pursuing that vehicle. There's a officer right there, but decided not to get in front of that car as he kept going. So officers in a very, very slow pursuit now, off the main roads, off the highways and off the frontage roads, but now into a parking lot of the Southwest Center Mall. This car, very slow at times. We haven't seen anything high speed. We have not seen the driver get out or make any motions other than sticking a hand out the window, as we saw just a minute ago, and police staying very close but not comfortable enough at this point to get right up on the car. It's been going on for about the past 30 minutes or so, just like this. Stopping, starting, moving slowly down the surface streets, on the frontage roads, nothing extensive or high speed on the highway. And so here we go.
Police be able to seize here to bring this to an end? Would it be him stepping outside of the car, or?
If they could get to him.
Okay, now he is getting out. Oh,
he's down on the ground. He has.
It looks as though he may have. This is a guess, but looks as though he may have shot himself. And he has opened the door and fallen out of the car.
Very hard to tell, obviously, from this distance exactly what happened at that moment, but.
And we will keep our distance as Ames.
That he opened the door and he fell out of the car, and he has not moved since.
Over here on the left-hand side of your screen, this is videotape from earlier. You see him step out of the vehicle, put the gun to his head. Nothing happens here. And then he eventually gets back in this vehicle.
And he may have stayed in, I think that was maybe 10, 15 more minutes.
Right.
Until this happened.
Right. This picture on the right-hand side of your screen, this is a live picture we're looking at from Chopper 5. And on the left, that is tape from earlier. Okay, this is the live picture. And there you see, once again, the red sedan. And that shadow on the ground there under the driver's side door of the red sedan, that is, we believe, to be the man lying on the ground.
And we're just getting confirmation now from Dallas Police via Twitter of what we know here, that the suspect is down. And they now have some more folks en route to the scene, including a police spokesperson who should be able to answer more questions about exactly what happened at the moment the suspect went down.
We see a fire truck approaching the scene.
So again, we saw the suspect armed, holding a gun to his head, threatening to shoot himself, yelling at police. He got back into the car for another few minutes, and then we saw him open the door and fall to the ground, and he did not move. And now we see the fire truck moving in, an ambulance is there. We know that police sent out a tweet that said he is down, we see a lot of activity now. Everything's moving around. People are moving around. So it sounds as though they are there now to attend to the suspect.
Our law enforcement expert, Don Peritz, joins us once again. Don, what do you have?
A Fox News alert and a police chase taking place right now in residential streets in Dallas, Texas. The person driving that silver car there in the upper left-hand corner of the screen, just behind the trees, as you can see, is someone, well, and we thought maybe it was coming to an end, somebody who is wanted by police, apparently. They tried to pull him over, we're told, in the 4200 block of North Jim Miller. That's the road in Dallas, Texas, and this driver took off. Why? Well, who knows? You never know why these things happen. But KDFW is on it from their chopper, as you can see. It is going through residential streets, and it even looked like an alley back there just a moment ago. But police are continuing the pursuit.
That did look where it's into, John, and we're trying to find out more information about exactly this area that the cars are driving around at this time. Looks mainly residential. We're nearing midday, about an hour difference there in Dallas, so just after 10 o'clock in the morning, so most of the commuting traffic is gone. But the big question about why this guy is running, of course, is always the question that we bring up in a car chase. We don't know if there's anybody else in the car. It's very limited at this time, but a little deja vu, John, because earlier in this week we had another car chase at a low speed out in Los Angeles. So a little bit of a trend here. I wonder what's going on.
That's certainly the case, Jenna. This guy doesn't seem to know exactly where he's going, just driving around residential streets. This is all taking place a little bit south of the I-30 and a little bit west of I-635 and east of I-45 in Dallas. Again, just off of Jim Miller Road is my understanding of where this traffic stop originally took place. And again, just when it seems like the guy is slowing down and is ready to give up, and maybe that's going to happen here now, it does seem that the cars have come to a stop. The KDFW chopper, again, is following this for us from the air, and we do appear to have, the vehicle come to a stop. Yep, and there goes the guy taking off on foot. That rarely ends well. Maybe he thinks he can outrun the one officer in the black and white patrol car. Maybe he's not watched enough of these police chases on TV to know that when you get 3 or 4 or 5 cars involved, you're not going to have much luck.
You know, tough to know at this point, especially with the foliage. As you can see, it's tough for us to see what actually is happening on the ground there. But, John, this might be the time that really the police officers are the most vulnerable, because now they're out in the open. You don't know if this guy has a weapon or anything like that. And you got to think of the law enforcement at the time. What you see on the top of your screen, almost on that roof, there's someone walking. It almost looks, I don't know if that's a roof at the very tip top of the screen.
I think that's
We don't have control of this helicopter shot, obviously. And as we learn more, we will bring that to you. Again, a police chase in Dallas looks like it's on foot right now. And as we get a better visual on it, we'll bring you back there to show you more.
This is McKinnish Park. Okay, I'm going to switch back to 2302. Which one is it? I can just see one for sure. Yeah, news said it had been up to 3, but we could just see him working on 1 right there. All right, Skyforce.
like it's going down. Can we rewrite that tape? Can we see this that happened just now? Because I missed it. I blinked and I missed it.
Mm-hmm.
All right, we're
now they're on surface streets, and it's going to get dicey here.
Oh yeah, he's going down now. That's for sure.
How long, if that tire continues to go, how long can he go?
It depends. It makes steering extremely hard, especially on that front tire. It makes steering really hard, and especially with trying to get back up to a high rate of speed again. He most likely would lose control of the vehicle. But you see two officers now, one trying to pull up alongside, and there's that spike strip. It looked like it was successful. They got it out there.
It looks like it to me too. All right, I think we have that tape of what happened a minute ago. Mike Brooks, our law enforcement. There it is. All right.
Yep. That was quick.
Has it happened?
Right there.
Right there.
There it is. Okay, and I think I saw a puff of smoke. Okay.
And in the left-hand box you're watching, and here we have the full screen now of the live pursuit. As they got off the highway just a couple of minutes ago. You know, Mike, since these are Indiana... Oh, okay. Wait, I'm being told, is he going to stop here? Okay.
There it is.
Here
All
it
right.
comes.
Let's watch
see
it.
what he does. Now, Mike, that's interesting, because don't they oftentimes hold back for fear that maybe this person might be armed, but they went right into that truck.
Yeah, they did. They went right into that truck. He's resisting arrest a little bit. They'll go ahead and clear that vehicle, make sure there's nobody out. They try to get him, and he's putting up a little bit of a fight there. But when you're in a situation like that, Christy, and you pull up alongside, you have to go ahead and decide whether or not you're going to take some kind of action, because defensively you are in a bad position right there. And that officer decided with the officer right behind him, and we see officers there from Dallas SWAT. Usually they're involved in that. You see the cars that don't have the white bars on them. That's the Dallas SWAT team. You see the officers who got involved in the chase, and they had the special weapons. And we see a number of officers there. Now they have them down, and they're going to go ahead and handcuff them there. So a good job. I tell you what, throwing that spike strip out, the officers predicted. You know, again, it's one of these things that, it's just and, it probably has a pretty good sized engine in that also. And, but most departments have that in, when it also has a heavier duty bumper, if you will. But we see the end here when this officer decided to open that door. He had his hands up, and the other officer was right behind him, backing him up, and they decided to go ahead and yank him on out.
All right. Well, a chase that began somewhere in the Dallas-Fort Worth area ended well north of the city, just off of US 75. It ended with the car being disabled by what's called a spike strip, and the left front tire being disabled, and the car pulled off into the surface street area and quickly just gave up, stopped the vehicle, and was soon apprehended, as you see. The end of a probably 45-minute chase in Dallas. Again, we don't know what the car was being pursued for, but it may have been a very serious event. So we're going to leave it with that. Christy, it's all yours.
Thank you, Chuck, so very much. Appreciate it, and stay with us, because Chief Justice John Roberts is in the hospital. We'll give you an update in a moment.
This is the
God forbid somebody that is innocent to this chase gets injured as a result of the actions of the subject fleeing from the police department. So that's why in the state of Florida, and particularly in South Florida, we have limited our chase capability to forcible felonies.
We're just being told that they're closing off some of the ramps. I don't know how long, or if you've been able to watch this, but there were the spike strips, and there were a number of police vehicles along the side of the road, but it doesn't seem as though, it's hard to tell he's going underneath that overpass. It's hard to see whether or not he is indeed slowing down.
Well, it looks like they tried to lay some of the strips down, but it did not look like it was effective. And as a matter of fact, the way he's traveling now, it doesn't look like it's as effective as it could be, although it looks like his front left tire might be flattening out.
Yeah, it does look like that one tire, and I don't know, we can't see obviously the other side of the car, but it's possible that could have been blown out as well. Does it become particularly dangerous now unless he decides to stop? Yep, it looks like he's going to pull over. What's the standard operating procedure? Oh, he is not. He's continuing on.
Right. Well, obviously, when the individual does stop, it all depends on his compliance or if he flees. But regardless, officers have to use the utmost care for their safety as they approach the driver, obviously because they don't know what the issue is. All they have is that he failed to stop for a law enforcement officer for an infraction.
Yeah, we're also told that it has Indiana license plates, so this is somebody who is out of state, which may also be a reason. I mean, if in a case like this, they would automatically run the plates, right?
Oh, absolutely. The plates have already been run. There's no doubt about it. So obviously the law enforcement officers have a better understanding of the vehicle and if indeed the owner is wanted.
So what are they doing right now? What's the sort of idea? Because they know at this, oh, look, it's starting to smoke. You can see the tires smoking?
Yes, and it looks like he's reaching into the glove compartment, and that's something very significant. He's pulling something out of some type of a bag or something, and hopefully it's not a gun.
Well, there's a police chopper up there. Do you think that they're able to see that, or there we go. He's on the ground. They're pulling him out. They've got him. Struggling. This all happened very quickly. From what you were able to see, they did it by the book?
Well, with regard to the apprehension, absolutely, and you can see the individual is violently resisting, and it looks like the officers have done a very good job in the apprehension of the individual with minimal injury to him, if any at all. And now it's time to find out what indeed is the concern and why he fled. Looks like they apprehended him quite nicely.
Yeah, without, as you said, anybody getting hurt, and he seems to be in okay shape. What would, again, just so we can be clear on this, is there sort of a standard? You had a standard when you were in Boca in South Florida, but is there sort of a generally accepted standard nationwide about when you pursue a suspect?
No, there is not, and that is an issue that the International Association of Chiefs of Police has been trying to deal with. Individual agencies have their own policies as they relate to police chases, as they do to relating to any other aspect of law enforcement. And in South Florida in particular, there has been a long-standing no-chase policy for about the last 10 to 15 years amongst agencies that clearly state that you will only pursue in a vehicle that was engaged or involved in a forcible felony, and nothing else will allow you to chase a vehicle of that nature. So an infraction is not something that we would chase for.
Well, that's going to be something that's clearly looked at. I'm sure a lot of people on those roads as he was going up and down, both north and southbound on US 75 were scared by the fact that he was cutting in and out and cutting people off. But let me ask you finally, and you've been very generous with your time now, Mr. Scott, when you were the police chief, did you ever ask any of these guys, did you really think you were going to get away?
Oh, yes. It's interesting. Some of them really felt that they were able to get away. Others weren't even thinking about the possibility of getting away. They just didn't want to get caught, and so they became so fearful that they did whatever they felt they had to do to flee from the police. But there were some that actually thought they were able to get away. But the majority of time, and particularly with helicopters today, as we've seen just now, you don't need to have very many police units following or chasing a vehicle when there's a helicopter overhead that can easily direct units in the area to keep an eye on where the vehicle is going.
Yeah, you're not going to outrun that chopper, even as he was going an estimated 80 miles per hour. Andrew Scott, the former police chief of Boca Raton, Florida, expert on police chases. Thanks so much for being with us. We appreciate it.
Thank you, ma'am. Have a good day.
You too. So peaceful ending and successful ending from the police perspective to this chase that went on for almost an hour and a half when a man who was driving that black SUV had a busted taillight. They tried to pull him over. He wouldn't go over. We're told it's an Indiana license plate, and that a high-speed chase ensued in and out of traffic, both north and southbound on US 75. Part of the good news is this all ended before they got into rush hour, because it was very dangerous as it was going on, even with fairly light traffic along that highway. So an ending to that, and we have a lot more news developing for you. One of the things we are keeping our eye on as we watch the final moments of this and all the police gathered around is Chief Justice John Roberts of the U.S. Supreme Court in the hospital today after taking a fall in Maine. We're waiting for more information on that. So busy day as the suspect sits on the ground, his legs folded, his hands cuffed behind his back. We'll have more after this.